Hey friends! In today's video, we are going to discuss the top 3 patterns that I am seeing in marriage-based green card cases this year. Stay with me until number 3, because that one may really surprise you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, friends. My name is Mr. Zubair, and welcome to US Visa News Daily, where we keep you informed about everything happening in US immigration. Friends, we truly believe that now is the time to get knowledgeable and experienced immigration help. So stay with me through all 3 trends because every one of them matters. Here is the first trend I am seeing in 2026. USCIS is scheduling marriage green card adjustment of status interviews very soon after filing. You may be thinking, well, USCIS has slowed down in many areas and processing times are getting longer.
Yes, that is true in many categories, and we are still early in the year, but right now, marriage green card cases are still moving at a fairly steady pace. Over time, I do expect a more noticeable slowdown in marriage cases and in many other kinds of filings too. But for now, these cases are still progressing. What is different is that interviews are being scheduled very quickly after the filing is submitted. So people are often shocked to get an interview notice just a month later, or maybe 6 weeks later, or sometimes 2 months after filing the marriage green card case. And I am speaking specifically about concurrent filings of the I-130 and the I-485 together. Those cases are being called in for interviews very quickly. This video is for informational purposes only. Please consult a licensed immigration attorney for advice specific to your situation. The second trend I am seeing with USCIS lately is that they are looking back at prior denied cases and bringing the history of those cases into the new filing that is before them now. Yes, it is normal for an officer to consider what happened in the past with a marriage case and what led to a denial. But in the past, they often moved past those issues pretty quickly unless the record clearly showed that the earlier denial was based on marriage fraud. Of course, if marriage fraud was involved, they would take that very seriously because it is illegal, and USCIS has always worked hard to stop it. But what I am talking about now is something a little different. A prior denial may have happened because a case was abandoned. Maybe one spouse did not appear at the interview. Maybe the interview was missed and the case was denied for abandonment. Now officers are bringing those earlier facts back into the discussion and really trying to understand what happened in that previous case. Why did you not appear? Why was the case withdrawn, if it was withdrawn? They are asking detailed questions about old denials and, in some situations, trying to build an argument that the current filing may not be genuine or bona fide because a prior case was denied. Sometimes they are making jumps in logic that are not entirely fair, but this is the reality we are seeing on the ground right now. Now, you may have had a prior case denied because the decision letter said something like, "You did not provide enough evidence to prove a bona fide marriage." That wording can also mean the government was thinking about marriage fraud in connection with that earlier denial. In other words, they felt the marriage was not proven to be genuine because the evidence was not enough for them at the time. If they draw that conclusion, they may then try to block you from getting a green card through your current spouse or through the current filing in front of them. And that current filing may not even be another marriage case. It could be a different kind of case altogether, such as a filing through an adult U.S. citizen's son or daughter. Then, suddenly, they are bringing up an old marriage denial and treating those old facts as if they belong in the new case, even though time has passed and the family situation has changed. This is something we are seeing more often, and there are ways to respond to it and handle it properly. USCIS is not only bringing up prior denials in interviews, but in some cases they are connecting those past facts with the current filing and using that combination to deny the case or place people into removal proceedings. Those are the moments you really have to be careful about. Now let me move to the third trend, and I think this one may surprise some of you. There is more scrutiny being placed on the U.S. citizen petitioner. The U.S. citizen petitioner is now in the spotlight more than ever before. In the past, USCIS usually did not dig as deeply into the U.S. citizen spouse who filed the petition. Most of the attention, if not all of it, was usually on the beneficiary spouse, meaning the immigrant spouse. But today, USCIS is calling more and more petitioners in for biometrics and fingerprints, something they used to do only in very limited situations. In the past, a U.S. citizen petitioner would only be asked to do biometrics in rare and unusual cases. Now, it is becoming more common for the U.S. citizen petitioner to be sent to an application support center for fingerprints. That means they are doing more review and more investigation of U.S. citizen petitioners, too. And friends, some U.S. citizens are even being surprised at the airport when they return to the United States. This is happening in some cases where Customs asks follow-up questions connected to the spouse petition. For example, officers may ask questions about the marriage, the history of the relationship, and whether the marriage is real and ongoing. That can happen during secondary inspection. So if you are a U.S. citizen petitioner and you have an international trip coming up, and you have had issues at USCIS in the past, or you currently have a case pending and it already went to interview but has not been approved yet, or you are waiting on background checks and the case feels uncertain, then if you travel internationally, be ready in case Customs asks questions about that case. So what should you do now, knowing everything I have just shared? First, build a strong marriage case from day one. Put together a case that leaves very little room for extra questions or extra scrutiny. Work with an experienced immigration attorney who can help you create a solid filing that clearly shows the bona fide nature of your marriage. And if there was a prior denial in your history, your legal team can help you decide how to handle any possible interview questions, a request for evidence, or even a notice of intent to deny. You should have a clear strategy before you file. Second, prepare yourself for the interview as if it could happen sooner than you expect. Do not assume you have months and months of breathing room just because your case is pending. Stay mentally prepared and stay organized. And third, request your immigration records. Get your FOIA records. FOIA stands for the Freedom of Information Act, and it gives you the right to request records from the government. Get those records so you can understand exactly what is in your file, especially any previous denial. Work with an immigration attorney on the FOIA request, because sometimes you may need USCIS records, State Department records, immigration court records, or customs records. In other words, you may need more than one set of records to see the full picture. A professional can help you connect the dots. Friends, I know that what I have shared in this video may sound a little intimidating, but please do not be afraid. The point is not to scare you. The point is to help you be prepared for what may happen when you go before USCIS with a marriage case. Many people should still move forward and get their case ready and filed, so the spouse can get a green card and build a stable life here in the United States with peace of mind. The bottom line is that you need a strong case and a smart strategy. U.S. Visa News Daily provides immigration news and general information only. Always consult a qualified immigration attorney before making any decisions about your case. Friends, comment below and let me know what you think about this. And please share this video with other people because you never know who needs this information. Thank you so much for being with me in this one. My name is Mr. Zubair. This is U.S. Visa News Daily. Stay informed, stay prepared, and I will see you in the next one.